Well, hello and welcome everybody to episode 90 of Late
The
Arrivals.
Giovanni Fiore episode.
Oh
Sure.
my God, that's right.
He was in
Nice.
fact a duck that 2 weeks in
Number 90.
2017, 18, I think.
Could
That
also
was
do
it.
Oilers Perry.
Eh,
Oilers Perry is 90.
Giovanni Fiore's Ducks run was a special time in my life. I'll never
It's
forget
pretty
it.
important.
Hi guys.
Yeah.
yeah,
Connor's back.
a milestone episode. We have to have all four of us for the first time in at least a couple months.
Yeah, sorry
Yeah, it's
about
been a
that,
bit.
y'all.
Yeah, I can't remember the
Hey,
last time Connor was on. I think it was like in this episode
It was
70
before
something.
it was like a month into the it was like a month to into this season, I think. But yeah, it's just been busy with school. You guys who follow me know I'm kind of going through a little bit of a career swap right now, so I'm back in school for that and back to uh back to bartending and serving most nights while I'm back in school. So it's been a little harder for me to get back on, but things kind of simmered down a little bit. Got a new schedule for my EMT course in the summer, so able to hop back on a little bit more just in time for the draft.
Just in time. Perfect timing.
Yep.
He's
but,
back to his book learnings.
before we get into talking about what we're going to talk about tonight, the fact that we have made it 90 episodes just doesn't feel real. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
know
pretty
we've been
wild.
doing this for like 2 years and it's kind of a routine now.
Mhm.
Like before I used to get scared when we'd record because I'm like, oh God, my voice is gonna be on the internet. And I mean, there's sometimes I still feel that way, but I mean,
Yeah.
90 episodes and we're not getting like super bad mouthed on Facebook, so that's a win in
Yeah.
my eyes.
Yep.
Here we go.
And
I don't
here's
hate
to
Lou yet.
another
It's all
10
good.
more until we get to 100,
Yeah.
and then we don't know what to do anymore.
We've not had to formally separate from anybody, and
Yeah. No one's been voted off.
yeah, geez.
It's good stuff.
We can go back and look at the wild first episode, and we always bring it up. I feel every time we hit like the 10 episode milestone to get to like
Yeah.
these bigger numbers. It's crazy to think that this all started with half of us on our phones, me not doing my job at the rink and operating a Zamboni halfway through.
No one had a real
Then
mic. No one had a real mic except Annie.
Yeah.
it was incredible. I've come a long ways. But this wouldn't be possible without everybody listening to us. Sometimes I hate to pull the like I look at our statistics sometimes and you know am in awe because we do well. We get decent numbers and decent listens, but
Mhm.
it's the consistency and all the people that come and support us, and we're very appreciative of that. Um, because I mean we come on here and just shoot the shit like we would
Yeah.
just in a Twitter group chat. So it's you know fun putting
Yeah.
that into conversations like this because it gets more of our friends involved, and we've met some great people doing this, and here's to 10 more until we get to 100, and then we really hit the big time, then we're making the big
Yeah.
bucks.
Yeah.
Cheers.
But yeah,
Yep.
hopefully we'll talk about it a little bit more in a little bit later in this episode, but hopefully we'll be able to meet some new people face to face soon for the draft stuff and all that next weekend. So but yeah.
Well, before we get into all the fun duck stuff, last week we got news of potentially being a rebrand, but this week was just chaos. But we'll save that for a little
Yeah.
little ways down here. We'll get it through the Stanley Cup stuff because that's part of the reason we waited to record. So we didn't want to
Yeah.
record again after 2 games. And I think a lot of us thought the series was done after 3, after the
Yeah.
Panthers took that lead.
Yeah,
But
holy shit.
the Oilers are alive, and it's a little scary.
Yeah.
Do we have a reverse sweep in the cards?
As much as
Jesus.
I don't
Dude,
want
that'd be
it,
wild.
as much as I don't want it, because I do want Florida to win.
Mhm.
Honestly, it would go down as some real king shit that like the Oilers come back to reverse sweep like that.
on
Mhm.
McDavid's shoulders. Like,
hate the guy as much as you want. Which I mean, I don't see people really hating on David outside of just the occasional person that just has random beef with him.
Mhm.
But the fact that he's at almost 50 points in the playoffs is just nuts.
He's probably winning Conn Smythe no matter what.
yeah, he
he
could.
deserves
Yeah,
to.
like
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting into an area where I mean, we could see a repeat of '03 when Jaguar won the Conn
Yeah.
Smythe, and his team lost the final. Like
Yeah.
we could see a situation where Florida wins tomorrow, where they win Game 7, and McDavid still wins the Conn Smythe.
Mhm.
Just further cementing just how completely batshit insane he is.
Yeah. I definitely did not think we'd be recording tonight and there's like it's still going. Like I didn't think
Yeah.
we'd be like, oh yeah, there's a game tomorrow. Like I thought for sure we'd be recapping the season and everything, but
Yeah.
McDavid's going nuts. I don't know what's going on with the Panthers.
They
Bobrovsky's kind of
they
Bob's looked
looked
shaky.
they looked
Yeah.
shook in
Yeah.
the first half of Game 5. You know,
Mhm.
kind of turned it on a little bit towards the end to kind of get within reach, and pull it within one there in the third. Oilers staved it off, but I mean, yeah, dude, they're the once mighty Panthers looking a little on edge here, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is
And
gonna
they
be a
still
fun game
show
tomorrow night.
they still show that when they're on their game, they're pretty scary, dude. Like they're a really
Oh
good
yeah. Oh
hockey team.
dude. Oh
Like
yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Just
They're fun to watch. But
beats the shit out of you. Just grinds you down. Like doesn't give you
I
any room at all.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
the save by Kachuk. That was it Kachuk on the
Yeah.
empty net?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kachuk. Yeah.
That was hilarious. And then McDavid scores anyway, like right after because
Well,
his team
when
didn't even
Well, in the still frame of him hitting the cup out, like imagine he had done that and then the Panthers went down and scored and tied it up and ended up
Yeah.
winning the cup in overtime. Like that's a picture that goes down in history. It's
Yeah.
a shame that I mean obviously I actually prefer the Oilers one because I want to see more hockey and I want to see this series completely go the distance. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun stretch right here. So there's
Well,
only
all of
so I
us
saw so I saw a stat. There's only been 4 teams in the history of the NHL that have forced Game 6 of the Cup final after trailing 3-0. First team to do it was the 1942 Leafs, and they actually ended up pulling off the reverse sweep and won the Cup. Next was 3 years later, the 1945 Red Wings. The Devils did it in 2012 against the Kings, and then now the Oilers are the 4th team to do it.
Jeez.
So there's only been one team in history that's pulled it up to a Game 6 after being down 3-0 and has gone on to pull off the reverse sweep and win the cup. And it was the Leafs, funny enough, and that's hilarious. But
Yeah.
um,
Back when everybody was a car mechanic 2 hours before they came to the rink.
yeah, and
But yeah, all
slam,
of us here, on screen at least. One of our writers, Jack, didn't predict this, but all of us here predicted Panthers in 6. So
no, yeah, we
could,
did, yeah.
we could get that tomorrow night. But yeah, I have a lot of bookmarks from that game because there was a lot of things going on. Connor McDavid broke the record for most assists in a single preseason.
Postseason.
In a single postseason. What did I say?
Preseason.
I said preseason. Postseason, 32 assists. So that's cool. McDavid is the 3rd player in NHL history to record 40 plus points in a single postseason, joining Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux. So he's just doing McDavid things. He's going off per usual. Let's see. Corey Perry. Let's get some Corey Perry things here. Corey Perry is the 9th player in Hockey Reference's database to score a goal in the Stanley Cup final at the age of 39 or older. So that's cool.
Shout out the
why
boy.
not?
Shout out the boy.
Why not?
Mhm.
I'll save that one for last because that one's wild. Evan Bouchard is the 4th defenseman ever to have 30 plus points in a single postseason. He joins Al McInnes, Brian Leach, and Paul Coffey. So those are fun names to join. Nice little list there. And then the only players to ever have 7 points in a 2-game span in the Stanley Cup final. Connor McDavid is on a list with Lemieux, Gretzky, Coffey, Howe, Lindsay, Ted Lindsay. Babe Die in 1922. No idea who that is. This name is like, what is it? SYL? Is that Sill? Sill?
Yeah, I think so.
Sill Apps, 1942. Those are all the players that have ever recorded 7 points in a 2-game span in the Stanley Cup final. So that's wild. Goes all the way back to 1922. Okay, this is the last one. This is from Scott Wheeler. Connor McDavid has 174 points in 99 games in the 2023-24 season.
Jesus.
That's stupid.
Say that
That's
again.
so stupid.
174 points.
174 points in 99 games in the entire 23-24 season. So that's regular season playoffs.
Whoa. Jesus.
That's so
Christ.
stupid.
That's
Oh
just
God.
that's just fucking absurd.
I hate to rub salt in the wound, Ryan. I know you're celebrating, but it was kind of funny seeing the tweet that he has 2 more points than PLD had all season. Okay, we'll move on.
All right, we're moving on.
I saw a quote tweet of that list. One of the last bookmarks you had read there, Chris, that was like,
Uh-huh.
you can't be on that list and not win a Conn Smythe. Like,
Right?
if you are doing that and you're on a list with those players in history, like you don't even need to think about it. He gets it regardless of
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I really don't want Oilers to win. And it's not even from a like, oh, division rival. It's just, I want to stick by my guns here. But
Yeah.
like I said, if they pull it off, at least if they force 7, I don't know, like, even if the Panthers win in 7, like, you gotta give them like all the kudos in the world that they were able to do what they did, because they look shaky those first games, but holy shit, when they want to try,
Oh yeah.
they certainly get it done.
Yep.
Yeah.
But do you guys have any more comments about the Cup final? Because I was starting to get worried that when it went 3-0, like, well, it's gonna be a really boring Cup, but it's cool because, like,
Yeah.
the Panthers, their very first Cup, they got swept. Or their first Cup appearance, they got swept. They lost last year. Like, it'd be cool that it came full circle. Maybe they swept. But they have not looked good. It's not ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, the last 2 have been pretty bad. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. As you all know, it's recording on a Thursday night. Game 6 is tomorrow, Friday night, 5 p.m. Pacific. Do we want to do some predictions for Game 6? Do we all want to stick to our guns and Panthers in 6, or are we gonna have things changed?
Just because I want it now, give me Oilers win 5-3.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Florida figures it out and they win 4-3.
Just because I want a game 7, and then I'd probably pick the Panthers in a game 7. But
I agree with Jake.
4-3.
Yeah.
But,
I
it's
think I'm gonna-
nice to finally have the Cup final that's been this entertaining offense wise. I feel like last year was a little bit of a dud. Sorry, I interrupted you, Chris, but
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say Oilers. I'll say 4-2 Oilers, and it's gonna go to a game 7. So me and Connor got Oilers winning. Jake and Lou got the Cats.
spicy.
a house divided.
Uh-oh.
So, we didn't just have Connor join this episode just for draft stuff, but it is that time of year where our boy flourishes. So we will let him have the floor here. Talk a little bit about next week. If you're going to the flock party, potentially all of us, definitely a few of us will be there.
Mhm.
Say
I don't
hi.
know if I'm gonna be there yet. I don't know.
Yeah. Not sure about Lou. But yeah, I'm making the drive out, so I'll be there.
Sounds like we'll see whoever the Ducks end up picking at third overall there.
Yeah, we're gonna get Cutter's gonna be there, and both of our first round picks,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they said both picks.
And
you get
as
to-
well as
and new
the
merchandise.
Beak and new merchandise. And the
I wonder
Beak is
what
gonna
that.
be there, and I think we should all, like all of us individually, should bring a monster can for Pat Verbeek to sign. I think we should.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that.
that or take pictures with Cutter and say, hey, can you sign this to our good pal J Money?
Which I feel like it was kind of interesting that they said come meet both of our first round picks. So it's like, okay, so you're just kind of telling us we're not trading the Oilers pick.
Yeah, guess we're not trading that.
Like, are they just like if it does get traded, are they just gonna like amend every like little tiny thing?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? So I don't know, but
It'll say updated as of 6/20, whatever.
yeah, as of yeah, trades pending or whatever. Oh man, I mean, dude, can I just say, like, this draft class is just giving me a complete fucking headache. I have no idea like what to do anymore. I've just kind of thrown my hands up at trying to predict what's going to happen. Like, it's one of those years. Like again, I've kind of compared it to 2022, the Minchikov draft, where after the first couple top 4 to 5 picks in that year, like the next 12, 15 guys and on in 2022, nobody knew what the fuck was going to happen. Everyone was predicting a different order. All the major outlets were saying different things, had different things going on. No one could come up with a real consensus. Oh, this is how it's going to be. Only difference this year is it's a lot more wide open in a similar fashion, but the wide openness happens after pick 1, starting with pick 2. Maybe not starting with pick 2 if you really think that the Blackhawks are going to take Artem Levshinov like we're hearing. I think they're going to take Levshinov, but I mean, who knows? They may surprise us there and kind of go against the grain. But yeah, just for the sake of the argument, we'll say after Celebrini, there's like 12, 13 guys where there's a case for everyone. And all these teams, what we're hearing is every single team's board is going to be completely different. So what may seem as a surprise to people who may not follow the draft as closely as some of us do on draft day is like really should not be seen as a surprise too much, just because it's this absolute clusterfuck of like I said, different boards and teams valuing guys differently. Some teams drafting what they feel is best player available. Some teams drafting a little bit more for need. It's such a hard year to predict. And all these guys being in the same tier does not necessarily mean that it's a down year for the draft. There's just there's so many different players and there's so many mixed opinions on players that's why it's creating this big jumbled mess here after Macklin Celebrini goes number 1 to San Jose. But yeah, I mean, for the Ducks at third, like, I don't know if I'm assuming most of our listeners listen to Crash the Pond too, but their last episode, Felix did a ranking of the defensemen that he thinks are in play for the Ducks. I kind of did something similar for the show tonight, except I included forwards. And so I have 10 guys here. And you may be like, 10 guys, what the fuck? But like literally all 10 of these dudes could be taken by the Ducks at third overall, and I'd be like, oh yeah, okay. Like it's just there's a case to be made for every single one of these guys. Like I definitely have my preference, as you guys will see here as I kind of go through it. But yeah, and when I was crafting this list, I kind of did it in a hybrid way. It's kind of half my own personal feel, my own personal rankings, and then I kind of felt obligated to put a little bit of, Ducks need or, what the Ducks might do into this too. So it's kind of half and half. And if I ran into 2 dudes back to back that I had on the list where I was really unsure of where to put them in terms of which guy I wanted ahead between those 2, I lean towards what I think Pat Verbeek might do. So, and I'll let you guys know when I ran into something like that. So, if that particular player of those 2 goes ahead, it's what essentially I think Pat Verbeek might do. So, I mean, my top three is pretty standard. I still have Ivan Demidov number one. I've always been a fan of him. I just think he'd be such an electric player to add to this, to add to this forward crop. We got some more information on him at the Milstein Gold Star event in Florida this week, where they had all the Russian
He's
guys.
bigger.
Most of the Russian guys come over, and yeah, he's bigger than people thought. People were just guesstimating that he was 5'10", 5'11", and 165 pounds. He measured in at 6'1.5" and 192, I think. So he's a lot thicker and a lot bigger than people were just assuming or pegging, or he weighed in more than what he was being listed as on the line by his team. So
we also got an elite Pat Verbeek picture of him just like looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, and we had Verbeek was and I'm assuming Madden were boots on the ground at the event too. So it's not like they're just completely passing over any of these Russian guys. But so I have Demidov number one still. He's kind of always been my number one. And of course I have Macklin Celebrini number one, but we're just operating that he's going first overall like he should. So so Ivan Demidov number one. Number two, I have Caden Lindstrom, who everyone has probably heard of, right? He's your typical Pat Verbeek player, just big 6'3", 6'4", skates so well. He's got great hands. He can shoot. Just uber physical and uber competitive. He's a gym rat. He's built just like an absolute tank. I think he weighed in at the combine at a little over 6'3" and like 217 pounds. So he's a big boy.
Medicine Hat, right?
Yeah, Medicine Hat Tigers, where Emerson Edom played his where Edom played his junior hockky. So
hopefully he doesn't ruin with Zellweger if we take him, because those two guys are gonna like bankrupt a grocery store.
Yeah. And by all accounts, he's an absolute gym rat. And like I was telling the guys before we went live, I'm not doing a super huge deep dive on all these guys just because it's a lot of names, and just for the sake of time, I know everyone doesn't want to be here for 3 hours. So, like I said, this draft class has just kind of pissed me off. I don't know how to rank any of these guys. Everything is confusing. I have a different opinion every single day. And I'm giving this list today, and honestly, this list can and probably might change a little bit in some areas between now and Friday. So, or now and next Friday. So it's how I feel today on June 20th. Yeah,
this is Connor's the meme of Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny.
Literally, this isn't literally that's how I feel. This is me descending into madness. So yeah, I have Caden Lindstrom number two. I mean, I think he'd be just an awesome forward add to this group. I think if you throw him on a line with Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, or Leo Carlson, Troy Terry, I mean, it's a lot. That's a lot of man muscle on that line, and a lot of size, a lot of reach. And I think Pat Verbeek is at least I think he should be extremely high in Caden Lindstrom. It just kind of depends on where he wants to go, obviously. So this one may be a little bit surprising. So the dudes I had at 3 and 4 is kind of the first time that I struggled. I really wanted to put the guy I had at 4 at 3. Right now, it's a little bit of recency bias. I'm kind of buying into the hype of him. I ended up putting him at 4 because I think if it was tied between the two, I think Pat Verbeek would lean Artem Levshinov at 3 if he was available, if Chicago does not take him. So, there's not really much to say about Levshinov. I mean, he's a premium position, a sizable-ish right shot D, kind of brings a little bit of everything. He's got really good offensive acumen. He can skate really well. He's just kind of your total package defenseman there out of Michigan State. There's some concerns about, is he being a little bit overrated? Some concerns about, his effort in the defensive zone, but I think those concerns kind of swayed too far in the negative direction, and I think the pendulum's kind of starting to swing back into the middle. Not saying that there aren't any concerns, because there are some concerns that I have in this game and that others share that I think are valid, but I think things just got a little bit too blown out of proportion there for a little bit. But it's hard for me to not have him as the number one defenseman. I mean, highest ceiling for sure in the draft. He could easily, if everything goes right, his development continues to trend up. I think he could easily be a number one defenseman in the NHL someday, or at least like a very, 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 very good number two. And I think having him, having him on a pairing with someone like Pavel Minchikov, I think that's really enticing. So yeah, Artem Levchinov number 3, but number 4, who I kind of was feeling I wanted to put at 3, just because like he excites me and he's a late riser, is Beckett Seneca out of out of the OHL from the Oshawa Generals. Kind of, I'm not I'm using the comparison to Leo Carlson as a loose comparison for the fact that he was a late riser. Um, not as much, or hold on. How do I want to put this here? You guys are witnessing my descent into madness with this class, so I'm sorry. He at the start of the season, he was ranked around, anywhere between, the 15 to 25 range, and kind of had just a middling start to the season, but holy shit, did he turn it on in the second half, and did he turn it on in the playoffs? And if you guys watch clips of him, he's just so explosive, and he's got probably, I mean, besides Ivan Demidov, he's probably got the second best overall hands in the class, I'd say. He's absolutely filthy, constantly processing the game, just plays at a high speed, super explosive. Like I said, one of the things that stood out that stands out to me with him the most is just how quickly he goes from 0 to 60 in a split second. Like he can be floating around his own his own blue line without the puck, and then what feels like not even a second later, he has the puck and he's split the D and he's in on net alone against the goalie. I think he's electric, and he's a winger, he's a right wing, big.
What you need.
Yeah, we need, we do need some of that, and Pat Verbeek mentioned wanting to add, a right shot, right wing. Now he did say that in free agency, but I have to imagine that, being able to get a younger guy like that in the draft who fills a hole in the pipeline, something we really don't have, is a really, offensive minded right shot winger in this pipeline. I think Pat's going to love him. Like, I mean, where he could be on the Ducks board, we gotten some rumors that from Grant McCagg that the Ducks really like Beckett Seneca and another player that I'll get to here shortly. But yeah, I think I'm buying into the Seneca hype, or the Seneca hype. I would say you can put me in the Seneca hive.
I would have to get.
Is what I should
I
have
would have
said.
to get a. I might like if we drafted Seneca, I might have to get his jersey just because of the name, because it's not spelled the same, but
it's a sick name.
yeah, and that's literally the Native American tribe I'm part of. I'm Senecan, but it's like spelled
really?
differently.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I didn't know
it's
that.
spelled
Oh,
differently.
shit.
Yeah, it's like Seneca, Seneca. So when I saw his last name, I didn't know that's how you pronounced it. Like I just found out maybe like last week that it's pronounced Seneca, and I'm like, that's cool. So if he gets drafted, I might have to get his jersey just because of how it's pronounced.
So you're
Yeah, no, I
saying
mean,
you would
it's a
purchase Seneca stocks, Mr.
Yes,
CGK?
Seneca
Seneca stocks.
Yes, I would.
Hashtag Seneca stocks. I mean, I'm buying into Beckett Seneca. I have him in my top 4. Like I said, obviously we're excluding Macklin Celebrini out of this because he's going to go number 1. But
yeah.
I have him fourth on my list for the Ducks. I think he'd be an electric ad. And I was talking in the prospect chat with some people over Crash Pond the other day, and I have this vision of a Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlson, and Beckett Seneca line, and holy shit, like that's just plenty of filth. But yeah, Beckett Seneca's electric, very raw. There are some concerns with, okay, like he really just had a great second half and a really great playoffs. But, you can make the other argument of, he really turned it on when it mattered. He also grew from 5'10" to 6'3" in like less than 2 years. So, still growing into his body, and he can fly like that. Probably still not done growing either. So, once he gets even more comfortable with his body, that's kind of what people like elite prospects are saying, where, he was flying like he was that season, and they were like, yeah, he still kind of looked uncomfortable at times. So, I mean, God knows what that kid could be when he fully grows into his frame and he fills out. But yeah, so Beckett Seneca at 4, I think he'd be a great pick. 5, I have the local boy out of Denver, Zeev Buium. People, I mean, I think people, and I've tweeted this a couple of times, I think people are getting a little too overblown with the whole, oh, the Ducks can't pick another left-hand D. They can't pick another left-hand D. Where's he going to play? It's like, I've always been of the belief where especially in the top 5, like we're picking again, you just take the best player available on your board, no matter if it's a left shot D or right shot D, a center, or, a center, a winger, a left wing, a goalie, like whatever. Like just take the best player that you have on your board who's available, and then you figure the rest out later. Like we've talked down this, we saw it with Jamie Drysdale. Like all these young dudes who were in the system and currently on the team, not every single one of them is going to be on this team in 5 years. So, just take the best player, in my opinion, that you have on your boards. And if that player is Zeev Buoyant for the Ducks and they think that he's the best available, they should take him. I think people are kind of
Yeah.
blowing over the left-hand D thing, but I really like Zeev Buoyant, local kid. Like I said, he's from Laguna Niguel, and then pretty much grew up in San Diego, I think. And then obviously went to Denver, shined at the World Juniors this year, really shined in the Frozen Four in the college playoffs this year, and brings the two-way side to the game, a little bit more offensive minded. I've heard some people say, "Oh, he kind of just seems like another Olin Zellweger." I think he's got a little bit more of a defensive side to him than Zellweger currently does. But yeah, I love Zeev. He's one of those dudes where he doesn't have one particular thing he's elite at, but he's just really good at everything. And I think having a guy like that who skates really well like he does, I think he'd be a great ad. And like I said, it doesn't matter to me that he's a left-handed D. I think you should just take him if he's who you feel is the best available, and then figure it out later. And again, I'm sorry if I'm so all over the place. As you guys know, I haven't done this in a while, so I'm trying to get back into podcasting mode and not just trying to word vomit. So bear with me here. We're halfway done.
You're all good.
Yeah. So I had Zeev Buoyant at 5. At 6, I have Carter Yakimchuk out of Calgary in the WHL. He was the guy that I mentioned earlier that Grant McCagg mentioned, along with Beckett Seneca, that he had heard that the Ducks had shown a good amount of interest in. And, to bring up Felix again, he and I have been talking about Yakimchuk a little bit over the last week or so, and he kind of reminds us of a right-handed Pavel Mintyukov, who's a little bit meaner and a little bit taller. 6'3" right shot, really great offensive acumen. Like Pavel Mintyukov, he's a really fearless in the offensive zone, has no problem activating off the blue line, and he has some of the sickest hands you'll see from a defenseman. Like there's literally an elite prospects clip that they put up a week or two ago, and it's 4 minutes of him activating off the blue line, dangling the F1, F2, F3 forwards completely out of their skates and going in on net. A lot of the times either creating a scoring chance or scoring himself. He's really mean. Like I said, he's a relentless battler in his own zone. Got no problem knocking a dude on his ass. He plays physical. He's really raw. Like, it's not always as pretty as I may be describing it. So he'd be a bit of a swing pick, but as we talked about with Artem Levshinov, he's a big right shot D. It's a premium position, and if the Ducks really want to hammer home and fill that right shot D hole that Jamie Drysdale left, and they really want to get kind of their token guy there in the pipeline on the back end, I think Yakimchuk is a fine option. And then so I added Yakimchuk 6. Number 7, I have TJ Ginla. And son of Jerome Iginla, playing for the Kelowna Rockets in the WHL as well. And I mean, one of the better shooters in the draft, probably one of the best shots in the draft overall. The kid can score like no other. He's fun, energetic, relentless. I think he's 6 foot, 6'1", but he's built pretty thick too. He's always engaging in board battles. He's smart. He's intelligent. It's just kind of the thing with him. And I was talking with Jake and Felix. I was texting with them last night about Tej because Felix had been watching him a little bit yesterday, and we all kind of agreed that he's not the kind of player you draft to be the guy. Like he's not going to be the guy. He's more of a complementary piece, right? That you plug into your lineup to play with your guys. And typically in a team who's drafting 3rd overall, they're typically, it's still kind of early in their rebuild and don't necessarily have, they may not always have all these core pieces that they need, but the Ducks are in a position where our core is kind of set. We ended up at 3rd overall for whatever reason you feel last year, but we have all the pieces. We have our guy in Leo Carlson, who we drafted last year already. So that's already taken care of. So if you have TJ Ginla as your best player available, even though he's more of a complimentary player, but you feel like he's going to be the best fit to plug into your lineup with all these young guys for the next couple of years, then take him too. I have no problem in doing something like that. So yeah, TJ Ginla, number 7. At number 8, a guy who's kind of dropped for me a little bit. I'm still higher on him than some are. I think I'm higher on. I think I'm still higher on him than Felix. But Anton Salayev, the big 6'7" Russian, the big 6'7" Russian defenseman. Um, I'm still a believer. I'm still willing to swing on the upside with Salayev. There are concerns about his offensive game, which I think are valid. Is he going to be able to translate that? If it hadn't looked great in the KHL, didn't really look like it was progressing too much in the KHL. How's that going to look in the NHL? Can he figure it out in the world's number one league if he hadn't really fully figured it out in probably the second best league in the world, or second, third, whatever you feel about the KHL? But I mean, 6'7" can skate like he can. One of the best skaters in the draft. I mean, I don't know if you guys are watching it, but he absolutely flies. He's a mean motherfucker. He's probably one of the more physical dudes in the draft too. So, the Ducks do not have a guy in their pipeline and on the back end with just complete elite shutdown potential. And Salayev has that. And we've been talking a lot where the Ducks are in a position with all the defensemen that they have with offensive abilities, being able to move the puck. Where as long as Salayev just continues being great in the shutdown role and with his shutdown game, and maybe just even stays even or just makes somewhat strides to be an average offensive defenseman or maybe just an average NHL puck mover, that's kind of really all the Ducks would need with him. Because we already have the guys that can play with him and can distribute the puck for him, and he just needs to focus on that elite shutdown ability. So if the Ducks want to do something like that, I'd be okay with it. I'm cool with Salayev. Obviously I have 6 or 7 names ahead of him personally in my preference right now, but if he was taken in third, I would still be okay with it. Not my first choice, like I've said, but I could definitely see the vision there. And then, so I had Salayev at 8, and then the players I have at 9 and 10, I won't spend too much time on. I mean, you can honestly probably flip-flop these guys thinking about it, but I have Sam Dickinson at 9, and I have Zane Parekh at 10. Both are defensemen that play in the OHL. Sam Dickinson for the London Knights, Zane Parekh for the Saginaw Spirit, who, if we remember, that's who Pavel Mintyukov was playing for in his draft year. I mean, Sam Dickinson's great. Probably the most projectable defenseman out of these top defensemen in the draft. Like, he's going to be an NHL. He's going to be fine. He's a great skater. It's just, for me, he just doesn't excite me very much. Like, he's just not really overly elite at anything. It's kind of like Zeev Buium, where he's not elite in any particular area. He's just kind of good. But I think Zeev's got a little more fire to his game, a little more energy, a little bit more, just a little bit more pizzazz, I'd say. I know that's not a scouting term, but I don't know how to I don't know how else to put it. But yeah, so I have Sam Dickinson 9 and Zane Parekh 10. I mean, there's no denying how great he was offensively this year in the OHL for Saginaw. I mean, the ceiling is really high. For me, it's a question on what the floor is. I think it'd be a little bit of a redundant pick, given that we already have Pavel Mintyukov and Owen Zellweger here. I just think it'd be like, I could see it. I could see the vision with the pick. I also just don't see him as a Pat Verbeek guy. He's 6'1", only 170 pounds. Definitely room to grow, but doesn't really play very physically. It's not really a big part of his game. It's not really something that I could really see Verbeek going after, especially if some of these other guys are sitting there for him. But wouldn't be totally surprised if he was shocked. But that would probably be the most eyebrow-raising one, or the most unexpected name out of those 10. But like I said, all these 10 guys could get taken, and I wouldn't really have too much of a negative reaction to any of them. It's just one of those years where no one knows what's going to happen. I sure as shit don't know what's going to happen, and especially with the Ducks, nothing's a foregone conclusion with Pat Verbeek. So I'm very excited to see how next Friday plays out. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts. I know, like I said, I kind of just word vomited for 10-15 minutes there on 10 different players, but just trying to get back into my podcast rhythm here. But
yeah, I mean, if you want, we can kind of predict. Like I said, we can all choose who we think the Ducks are going to take at number 3, if you'd like. If you can come to one name, I think I'm going to go. Like, nobody. like you were talking about Ginla. You don't see him kind of going
Yeah,
at
TJ
3.
Ginla.
You don't. Yeah, but I
But
think I'm gonna have a little
I
fun.
think he's very much in play. Like I think like it's hard
Yeah.
for me to like I get in these modes in the last couple weeks where I'm like, oh no, it's gotta be like it's only gonna be one of these 3 dudes. And then I'll kind of
Yeah.
think more and I'm like, well, like I mean, if it's one of these 3 dudes, I can't leave out these 3 dudes over here. Like it just doesn't feel right. And
Yeah.
then we're getting to that point in the draft cycle. It's getting closer. We're less than 2 weeks away where we're starting to maybe hear a little bit more inside scoop. Not really as much this close to the draft as I feel like we have in past years, but I expect some more of that to come in the next, what is it? 10, 11, 12 days until the draft. So I expect more to come, but
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Sorry to cut you off there, Chris, but I was thinking, should we, if we're going to predict the Ducks at 3, should we predict, well, I mean, obviously we're not predicting who goes at 1, but should we predict what Chicago does at 2?
We could. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
it's
feel
all
like
for
the
yeah.
only one that Chicago's really been like tied to is
Artem
Lev-
Leshinov.
Leshnov.
Levshinov. Yeah. I mean, I really think that's going to be Levshinov or Demidov. If it's not one of those two for
That's
Chicago,
what I
like
think. Yeah.
my jaw would be on the floor if it's anybody but those two.
Like I feel they
Um,
have to go
but-
defenseman because like they have some good forward prospects. I mean, you can't really call Bedard a prospect because he's Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
But like I feel like they have good forwards,
What do they have on defense?
but like there's no one back there on defense, and it's like he might not plug in right away, but that seems
Oh, they
like
got Kevin Korchinski. That's about it, huh?
They got Korchinski, Vlasic, Sam Renzel, I think, is one of the dudes.
and then then
I mean,
you
they have
Seth
Ethan
Jones, like
I mean, they have Ethan Del Mastro, who's a prospect coming up, but I mean, he's he's not
Yeah, their defense
terribly
is pretty-
exciting, but they don't have that token dude on defense. I mean, Kevin Korchinski,
Yeah.
fine, but I mean, I would certainly take Levshinov over. I would certainly rather have Artem Levshinov over Kevin Korchinski in the Duck system right now. So, I mean, I think Levshinov makes the most sense for them. We're hearing the most smoke around him. So if you guys want to operate with the assumption that Levshinov goes at 2 and
That's what I would say. Yeah.
while we make our picks at 3. I mean, I feel like we
Yeah.
could do that too. But we did decide before we got on when we were planning this. We'll all make a prediction for who the Ducks take at 3, but neither of us can pick the same guy. So who wants to go first?
we'll go counterclockwise from my square. So we'll go Lou, Connor, Chris, and then we'll end with me.
Okay. Lou first dibs. Who you got? So Celebrini goes 1, Artem Levshinov to 2. They're off the board. Who do you think?
I'll just go Kaden Lindstrom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lou predicts Lindstrom. I always want to say Lidstrom. Okay. And
Lidstrom
Chris
would
is
be
up.
nice.
So Chris can't pick Caden Lindstrom.
Oh, yeah, I forgot your guys' squares aren't the same as mine. So
Oh.
I think it was Connor next. Go ahead, Connor.
Oh, is it me? Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was you.
Okay. So Celebrini, obviously, and Levshinov are off the board. Lou already predicted Caden Lindstrom. Ooh.
see, now you're really on the spot because now you have to decide.
But the thing is, I don't know if Verbeek takes Demidov, but man, I don't know. Like it's okay. Let me you cross these names off here so I can just visualize it better.
Just
Oh.
sweating.
Who was the defenseman that one guy tweeted that the Ducks were thinking about getting?
Yakimchuk.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a fun name to say.
I mean, I'm
Yakima.
deciding. I mean, I had Booyam 5 and I had Yakimchuk 6. I think if it was like I put Booyam over Yakimchuk because I think Booyam's better, but I feel like Verbeek would personally lean Yakimchuk based off fuck. All right, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I'll buy into the hype. Ducks pick Beckett Seneca 3rd overall.
Cool.
Just make it a prediction. I was not allowed to pick Caden Lindstrom. Levshinov's off the board. I'm not sure they go with Demidov. So I'm Fuck it. Beckett Seneca.
Okay, your turn, Chris.
I'm going to Ginla.
Peach.
I'm going to Ginla.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like him a lot. I like him a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go that high at 3, but I'll have a little fun. I'm gonna say Ginla.
Interesting. Okay, so Lindstrom, Levshunov, Seneca, and Tej are off. So Jake, if you just want to go off my list, the remaining names I would have are Zeev Buyam, Carter Yakimchuk, Anton Salayev, Sam Dickinson, and Zane Parek.
I'm gonna say my boy Zeev.
Zeev.
All right. Zeev. Okay.
Doesn't he have an insane in and out order or something?
That's like free content for Tyler right there. You just take him to in and out like once a week, and like
Right?
pretty
What
much at that
what is
point.
his order? I forget.
Double animal fry, the standard,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah, like, oh, this is crazy. He eats it all in one order, and it's the same stuff I order, and I'm like, oh. So when he does it, it's quirky and fun, but when I do it, I'm just overweight.
Extra spread is too
Oh.
much spread.
Christ.
Chris, when you clip the draft prediction thing, you should put the caveat in the
Okay.
tweet that we all couldn't pick the same guy, so people aren't like, what the fuck? Like,
Did they
Yeah.
say?
Are not
So we're
drinking.
getting we're getting extra sauce and peppers.
You don't need
Does he get it like
peppers on the In-N-Out
Does he
burger.
get it like mustard fried with the peppers? Because I mean, that's pretty out there. Mustard fried's good, but
I always get my burgers mustard fried now.
I don't do mustard fry, but I do get the chopped chilies.
I can't
I
go
will
there.
say that's another elite name in the
I can't
draft
go
is
there.
John Mustard. I hope they take him with the Oilers pick.
Mustard
because...
fried does do shit, Felix. It brings the umami factor into it. The amami or whatever you call it. Yamami.
Umami.
Yeah.
That's good.
Man.
That's good.
You mammy.
And knowing Pat Verbeek, all those 4 dudes we could have just predicted, I mean, even including Levshunov, it's probably not even going to be one of those
I know,
5
right?
dudes now. Knowing Pat Verbeek,
I have a feeling it's going to be Anton Salayev.
I mean, it
Watch him
very
just
much.
trade it.
I have a
It
feeling
might.
it's going to be him.
So
It very well.
I have
It
to
very
ask,
well could be Salayev.
I have to ask: is like part of the reason why Demidov's like so low or like losing stock because people said they don't think he's trying? What was that all about? I saw a tweet that was like they don't think he's. Was it they don't feel like he's challenging himself by playing AHL or what was?
No, well, so the only reason he's in the MHL, which is for people that don't know, it's the
like
step below the KHL.
the junior or the.
It's all politics. Like we all know how wild it is over there in Russia. Like he's made it clear for a while that he eventually wants to get to the NHL, and so I think that his team, SKA St. Petersburg, they know that, and they're like, okay, well, if you're not going to play with us in any time, we're just going to stuff you down with the MHL, and you don't get to play with us. I mean, I think he played like 4 KHL games this past year. But I mean, I think they just called it up. I think they just had to call him up because it was injuries or something like that. Like their hand was kind of forced. But so I mean, yeah, and he's absolutely lighting it up and making everyone in the MHL look stupid. So people are like, okay, well, from a development standpoint, is that good for him? Like, is this kind of stunning him?
Yeah. Which is a valid question, but I mean,
it's super valid. It's super
look
valid.
at the context of it, like, there's some other factors at play.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the most skilled dude, just one of the purely most talented dudes in the draft after Celebrini. So it all just kind of depends, what does each team think about that? Like how worried are they? What's their worry level? And I mean, people say, you could compare him to Zegras a little bit. I'm not the biggest fan of that just hard comparison to Trevor Zegras. I think he's got some different elements to his game that Zegras doesn't have. I think Zegras has some elements to his game that that Demidov doesn't have. But I mean, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. And
Russian
I mean, like, dude, we see it.
gas.
Well, and I mean, and we see this every year. The token Russian forward who's not going to come over for a year drops a little bit. Like this
Yeah.
happens
Yeah.
every year. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just now
You
we
know.
don't have people yelling in clouds about it's
Yeah.
because he's Russian. It's like
Yeah. Well, and like, and the thing with Salayev, which I could see as a possibility this year. I mean, we literally saw the same sort of thing happen last year um, with Dmitry Simashev, who was the big, the big 6'4" Russian defenseman, got taken before Matvei Michkov because he's the big tall forward, and or I'm sorry, he's the big tall defenseman, and for whatever reason, we know NHL GMs. If you're a defenseman, none of that matters, but if you're a forward, it's like, oh shit, oh no, now I don't know. I mean, I could see a world where Salayev this year gets taken before Demidov, and I wouldn't be overly shocked. I think that should not happen. I think Ivan Demidov should still be taken in the top 5.
but we were talking about the NHL draft and dumber things have happened.
Yeah. It's defensemen get a premium put on them, especially big defensemen. And Salayev's 6'7" and skates like he does. I mean, I could see that happening, but man, it's just there's so many layers to this draft. That's why I'm so intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for the chaos.
Are the Flyers going to have another Cutter Gauthier situation with Matvei Michkov?
No, I don't think
You don't
so.
think so?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I'd cheer it on though, but
oh, it'd be hilarious, but
No, because I saw something yesterday. They didn't know his situation or whatever.
Let's hope they've maybe learned their lesson. Well, no, the thing with Michkov is it sounds like he's trying to come over earlier now. Because remember, he wasn't going to come over for another like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess now he's trying to, at the earliest, come over this season, but I think at the latest, come over next year in 25-26. But that's kind of the latest here. So
for?
people, he played for the same team Demidov is currently with SKA St. Petersburg, but I think he got loaned to Sochi last year by SKA for more playing time. And then I think Sochi either signed him or traded for his rights. So now he's a full Sochi player.
Okay.
Over in the KHL.
Yeah, because they were kind of like sandbagging him last year, and then they're like, well, he needs to play, and they worked out some arrangement.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see
not that Scott Ryan.
Yeah.
We're not talking about trumpets.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see. I'd be shocked if we see Demidov fall as far as Michkov did. I think to 7 or 8 last year. I'd be really surprised if he gets to 7 or 8. But Demidov only has 1 more year left, and he wants to come over, like we were talking about. So I feel like he's a lot more palatable for GMs in that sense.
He's not falling past Montreal. I don't think.
I mean, he could. I mean, I could see Utah taking him. I think it's 7. I think I think the absolute latest is Ottawa at 7. I think Ottawa's at 7.
Totally forgot about Utah. Yeah. Wow, that's a thing.
Yeah,
still.
Utah.
Yeah, that's
who's
real.
4th? Is that Columbus?
Yeah, Columbus is 4th.
There's talk now that Columbus they might trade 4th. They might trade their 4th. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, top 5. I mean, top 5
every year.
Yeah, there's always talks. I mean, top 5 picks are never traded on purpose, really, ever. So yeah, I'd be shocked if any of these teams in the top
Sabres could move theirs. They're at 11. They could move theirs. So
yeah,
that was talked about. So that'll
be I mean, well,
I'm hoping there's more
talks
trades
every
this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's talks every year about, this team's going to move up, this team's going to move down, and then like one trade happens, and it's like, oh, we're going to swap pick 28 for pick 31. It's like, okay,
yeah, cool.
It's just like, wow. It is worth mentioning. Jeff had mentioned it in the chat a while back. The Alexis Downey interview with Martin Madden today. They did only mention Lindstrom at one point, but I think that was in regards to seeing him before he was injured.
I think the Lindstrom mention in there is maybe getting a little bit blown out of proportion because, like you just said there, Jake, like he kind of led himself in that direction because he was talking about seeing injured players, and he was like, oh, for example, Caden Lindstrom, and people were like, oh my God, Lindstrom's the pick. Where I mean, he very well still could be the pick, but I think people got a little too like, oh my God, he said a name. But it's team produced content. He's not going to give any info on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a lot cooler if he did.
It would. If we get something like that, yeah, just
come on, Martin. Just say it with your chest. Just tell us what you're gonna do.
Mr. Madden, just create an Instagram account and post your board in your notes app.
Right.
Tell us
With
when
no caption,
Patrick
just no
Laine
caption.
is finally being traded to the Ducks, all 7 years later.
You're
after-
still on that Patrick Laine down time train, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not on that.
It'd be funny if that
I got off that trade years ago, man.
If MK Walters came back from the grave and was like, "See, I told you guys," that would be hilarious.
Yeah, Madden, send your draft board to @LateArrivalsPod. You can send it to us on Twitter or Instagram, whatever you prefer.
Or send it to Tyler, and Tyler can tell us. Either one.
Yeah.
Please, our
Tyler's in on
inbox
this.
is just full of people saying they work for Fanatics. It's very weird.
Yeah. Sports fighter.
Before we get into the thing that I think everybody tuned in for, we just gotta just wait a little bit longer. Gotta do our ads real fast.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like I bring up, well, why would you watch the Angels? But if you feel like watching the Angels in person for some reason, you can go to 714 Tickets and use code LAP at checkout. Or any other sporting event. Doesn't have to be that tire fire across the freeway. Because there are other teams in the state doing better.
Not the Giants.
Worth mentioning,
nationwide.
714 Tickets is moving apparently closer to Angel Stadium. So got to pour one out for the OD 714 tickets, but
yeah,
moving down the street.
Just down the street. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I saw that yesterday on their Instagram that they're moving down the street a little.
Yeah, aren't they bulldozing that entire area?
Yeah, because that's all going to be OC Vibe stuff.
Yeah.
So it's going bye-bye.
Part of the vibe.
But you can use code LAP at checkout. Get 10% off your order and 5% towards any future orders. That leads us into our favorite, shift hockey. I actually might get to play forward this season. So I might be in the market for new sticks. So, who better than going to shift?
Yeah.
I have one stick and it is not very fun to use because the blade is flat. And I can't shoot with it. I can pass, but it's not
no shots, only pass.
Not the ideal curve to have when you rarely play as forward. So
shoot.
We'll definitely be looking at shift here. Use lap 10 at checkout. It's too hot for sweatshirts, but we are always fans of the cream.
Yeah.
They
have nice t-shirts, They got cream t-shirts.
Yep.
Ryan in the chat, cream sticks. They do have cream colored sticks. So that's pretty sick. Honestly, if I played, I don't play, but I kind of want to get a stick anyway. I like the way they look. I would get a goalie stick just for the hell of it. Like, I think they're so cool. But yeah, lap 10. Go check them out.
Yep.
Do you have any others?
If you go to Noble tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. If you go to Noble tomorrow, go watch the Stanley Cup final. Mention Late Arrivals, get 10% off your tab. Or your drink of choice. You get 10% off if you mention the Late Arrivals podcast. Go enjoy what is Lou like? Man's milk? That's what you like to talk about?
Yeah, or maybe I don't know, man.
Go enjoy that. Nice cold beverage on a hot day. I think is it warm there? Pretty warm? Has it been hot?
It's getting warmer.
A little toasty, yeah.
It's gonna probably hit the 90s next week.
Yeah, I'm going to the Central Valley tomorrow, and it's gonna be in the hundreds. So that's fun.
Yeah, I'm going to Palm Springs Saturday and overnight to Sunday this weekend, and it's gonna be like 112. Not excited.
Yeah, when me and Jenny drive out next Friday morning, we're gonna stop it. We're gonna try to leave really early so we can stop in Palm Springs for a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's probably gonna be pretty damn hot. It can't be worse than here.
When you were doing the 714 ad read, I thought you said, "Go use I thought you said if you're gonna go to the Stanley Cup final, use our code. And I'm like, I don't know if the I don't know if the Panthers are gonna honor that, Chris.
Oh hell yeah!
Are they-
Sorry to interrupt, but there's a new Ghost song out, Connor.
What's that?
They made a new Ghost song for the movie.
Oh, did that come out today?
Yeah, or it's coming out this weekend, but it's
No, I
another.
meant the song. Like,
Yeah, they
oh
just
shit, I
they
missed
just
that.
tweeted out. It's called "The Future Is a Foreign Land" and it is another one of those uncovered Papa One songs.
Oh, what
And
the
then
hell?
the music video has a ghost. Oh yes. Okay, I gotta watch this after.
All right.
Not, I'm gonna
Yeah, I
want to
gotta
talk about that instead of the jerseys.
yeah, I gotta listen to that afterwards. What jerseys, Jake? What could have happened in the last week?
Yeah, what's
in Double
going
Ends?
on?
Nothing. It's not like the report of a potential rebrand was like valid for all of 2 days before they're like, the logo's probably going out Monday. But it is official. I mean, probably the worst kept secret. After the guy Aesthetics was talking about seeing both the Ducks and the Kings logos, but the rebrand is on. We are
So on.
celebrating that we are getting rid of the WebD and as the primary at least.
Yeah, it's getting moved to the shoulder.
Boy, we got Orange Country. We got New Jerseys. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna say I'm excited for these orange jerseys. It's gonna be a darker orange than what we're used to.
Yeah. And if that
it's gonna be similar to the Flyers.
It's
Well, and I mean,
it's literally the Flyers
yeah,
orange.
it's literally the Flyers orange. And like I'm also assuming most people have seen that leaked screenshot of Fowler and Terry modeling what appears to be the new full look, the full home and away look. It's the home's orange buckets, orange jerseys, orange pants, orange socks. Like it's all going to be orange. And I will say, like I had mentioned it to you guys in passing. Like I had heard about this a while ago, and so I had to kind of keep my mouth shut a little bit. And I'd heard the rumor that it was maybe potentially all orange at home. And when I first heard that before I saw anything, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Just wasn't sure. And then, found out, oh, okay, it's going to be a darker orange, once we got that confirmed after Aesthetics tweeted. And I was like, okay, maybe the darker orange and make that look a little bit better. And, we saw this apparent picture come out, that looks to be the actual thing. And I like it. Like it looks good. Like I just needed to see it. And I think the darker orange helps. But yeah, I'm kind of digging the all orange. It looks
There's
nice.
enough color to break up the orange.
Seeing it
like
visualized definitely kind of sets like some of that.
Yeah.
And I think
they're nice, man.
Yeah, like having the stripes on the bottom, the black, white, and gold stripes on the bottom kind of breaks it up from the pants. And then we can't really tell in that picture, but I'm assuming the pants have the stripe on the side, and then the socks have their stripe as well. So it'll kind of break it up a little bit, I think. But I'm excited to see how it looks. But I mean, look, if we see him in person, and the kind of consensus around the fans is that the orange in person is not the best move, or the all orange is not really it. I mean, it's a pretty simple fix to switch back to black helmets and black shorts. We may just have, if that is the case, we may just have to kind of grit and bear the all orange for a season or two before they change. But I mean, as long as they get the jersey right, I mean, I'm happy. It's most important part, right? But I will wait to form a formal opinion until we see the all orange look.
The gloves look really good
on the ice in person.
Gloves
are broken. Yeah, gloves are broken up a little bit too.
All I really care about is the logo, the Mighty Duck being back.
Looks
the
cool.
orange eye.
Nice touch. Very nice touch.
I didn't know that it had an eyebrow until.
Yeah. When they leaked the logo, I'm like, oh, the eyebrow, and then I'm like, wait, did they add that? Or I'm like, was the eyebrow always there?
I think it's always been there.
but it's been a
Yeah.
really, really light gray, and so you can't really see
Yeah.
it. That's what it's been in the past. Like I'm
Yeah.
trying to see if it's on here. Yeah, like it's literally. Oh, you can't see my hat now, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's literally like on there too.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's a more pronounced eyebrow. Thing with the orange eye,
Yeah.
it definitely makes it look a little bit meaner now, which I think is a
Mhm.
great touch. But yeah, the orange eye
And
looks
I
cool.
like,
Yeah.
I like how they're going all out with the eye too. Like even at the Discovery Cube,
Oh, that
they
thing that looks
they
like
had they
like an instrument.
we'll say
An,
we'll,
ins- an
we'll
instrument,
say
That is the way to put it.
Yep.
an instrument of pleasure is
Yeah,
is
yeah.
how we'll put it. Yeah.
yeah, crayons.
Sorry, Tyler. Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah,
Crayons.
yeah, exactly.
Crayons.
Crayon. Like
Yeah,
Tyler
crayon.
told us to not call it.
It's better than the other thing. But yeah, I like how they're kind of leaning into the eye look like that. Even the preseason schedule that came out, we'll talk about that in a second. But the preseason schedule, the graphic had the eye on there and stuff. So it looks like they're going to put that a lot into marketing, which is kind of cool. But I'm excited when I get out there next weekend to kind of feel the buzz around the rebrand here and see some stuff, and hopefully we'll get a nice look at everything at the flock party. I'm not sure if we're getting like, I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna see, like what they're gonna show. Who knows if jerseys will
Not
even
sure
be
if they're gonna
available
show
that
us
day?
it.
Not sure if we'll be shown it, but yeah,
They
should be
said they're
fun.
going
I'm
to be
excited.
selling
Yeah.
merchandise, so
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be like pre-orders.
they probably they'll
jerseys?
probably have like T-shirts and hats and stuff.
Oh,
No.
I'm getting a hat, dude.
Pre-order for a
Yeah,
jersey
hat
that
for
will
sure.
arrive in February 2026.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing I'm not too
Yeah.
crazy about is the orange yoke on the white.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to ask about that. Yeah.
I wish that was all white, but at the same
But that's something
time,
that'll probably grow on me.
exactly. I think with if it's the lighter orange, it would be a problem, but at least with the darker shade, it's probably not going to look as bad.
Yeah.
I will say that picture that did leak, it was very hard to believe at first, but the one sign that kind of gave it away from me, I've been telling everybody like at work when we've been talking about it, is the fact that the stick has like what looks like an actual name bar on it for Fowler and not just some garbled like AI letters
Yeah.
like you would see in like a picture like that that's faked. But I kind of feel like they knew what they were doing, like distorted enough where people are gonna think it's fake, but
Yeah.
make it, but have it be an actual picture. Like who knows if we see. I mean, I'm gonna assume we're gonna see marketing with those pictures at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and people also hypothesize that it could have been a still frame from a video.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which could
that's what it kind of looks like.
explain some of the blur and the kind of funkiness of it. But
True.
and the other thing when I look closer is if you look at the ad patches that we had last year, they're like completely perfect.
Yeah, I'm looking
In
at
the
it right
exact
now.
right spot.
Complete-
They don't
yeah.
look they don't look garbled at all.
The Bauer
Yeah.
ad.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Bauer
like
logos.
nothing's misspelled, you know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
will say that was kind of funny in the picture. Is like Terry's a warrior guy, so seeing him wear Bauer pants, I was kind of like, okay, so they probably just were like, hey, throw this pant shell on real fast. But then I'm like, if this is the switch, they're gonna already have the orange pants, so they were probably just like, hey, throw these on for a picture real fast.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about the numbers too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
So
the,
orange,
the nameplate, like
I
the
hope-
letter
orange
font.
numbers on the whites, and then white numbers on the orange.
I hope that's what it
Okay.
is.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, on the picture it's orange number with like a shadow effect on the white.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like the orange for the white road jersey, the orange, or I'm sorry, the numbers and name are going to be orange. But yeah, I really hope that the home jerseys are white numbers.
Ryan said orange on orange. Do the Angels red uni look? Respectfully,
Yeah.
no.
Jesus.
No.
Orange numbers on the orange
No.
jersey.
God, no. Please no.
We were
Yeah,
asked, do you think
tough.
there's an?
Go ahead.
It was what?
No, go ahead.
We were asked if we think there is an eggplant and jade alternate. Probably soon, not
Probably
next
down the
season.
road. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any alternate jerseys next year.
No, there is.
No, there is.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
said
Yeah.
made a video last week saying that.
Yeah, Aesthetic said that a lot of teams are keeping their thirds, but with the
Oh, okay. I
Ducks,
missed that. All right, I missed that.
I
yeah,
feel like we'll
with
have
the
to wait for the
Ducks,
Ducks just because this
yeah,
whole they're switching to two whole new uniforms and they probably want to get
yeah,
that attention first. I will say
Yeah,
if
you want to let him breathe a little bit, you know.
if the video
yeah,
with Wild Wing at the Eagle was just like to troll people and have those colors on there just to fuck with people, it's hilarious.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a funny touch. Oh, like how he went in for the eggplant and jade and then was like, no.
yeah, yeah. So I think we will
Bring
at
back the
some point,
30th.
maybe year 2 or year 3 with these new uniforms. Maybe we get eggplant and jade, whether it's a third jersey or like a heritage type jersey. I'm
Just bring
sure
back
it'll
the
be one of the
30th.
two.
I wouldn't
We
hate
could.
that. The 30th were sick.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't
Like
hate it.
it's not exactly the Mighty Duck, but it's kind of like it.
It's
Yeah.
adjacent.
But yeah,
You
then
know, or we could just do what a certain individual that we have come to know and love did and just invert the colors of purple and call it a day and claim it's his own, Not naming names
what?
here, but
No.
No,
We
no,
never
never.
did that.
Never.
rhymes with smoke schmack.
What what do you guys think of the trademark for Orange Country? I wonder what that's going to be used
Orange
for.
Country, let's
Let's
fly.
fly.
Let's fly.
That's
Let's
what's
fly.
probably
Yep.
going to be the slogan.
Yeah, we're gonna have Russell Wilson press the horn in the home opener.
Oh God.
And then the current season will truly begin.
Yes.
Well, and because it's been his thing, and I hope he's brought back, not just so we can do this, I actually hope we bring him back, but they need to have Max Jones do like a Orange Country, let's fly.
Yeah.
Just because he did that like he did the Ducks Country, let's fly thing here.
Yeah.
Let's fly last year. Ryan
It
says
makes me
orange.
wonder too.
Ryan says
go ahead.
Orange Country. Ryan says Orange Country, let's citrus.
Let's citrus.
It's citrus.
Wasn't there another
Um,
trademark for something?
No,
There-
I think it was just that.
Oh, I thought there was
Thank-
something else.
I am interested
don't know.
too that
I
if
coulda-
whenever this team makes the playoffs again, is Orange Country going to be more of a thing than like the Paint It Orange thing? Like is Paint It Orange maybe gone and it's going to be
I would think
Like-
so because I feel like
Yeah.
painted orange was like this is the rallying cry because we don't wear orange, but it's part of our colors. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah,
Rah,
it could be
rah.
something
Now-
like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, like, and it's a new era too. We haven't made the playoffs in fucking God knows how long. So they may try to like.
When the Oilers still wore the creamsicle jerseys, they were doing orange crush.
Yeah. 'Cause I know
Okay,
Flyers
okay.
fans didn't like that because the Flyers were Orange Crush when they made the
Flyers
playoffs in like
fans don't like
2011.
nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're like,
Nah.
oh, we did that 20 years ago. You can't do that too.
They don't like it's so weird because they hate the Ducks wearing orange, but like I don't see Penguins fans and Bruins fans arguing over colors. I don't see Islanders and Oilers fans arguing over colors. Sabres, Predators, you don't see that. It's only with the Flyers.
Every
For
other
some
team
reason.
every other team in professional sports is blue and red too. So it's like,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Think
look
of
at
that.
all the like the Rangers and the Capitals and the Blue Jackets all look the same. It's
Yep.
just like
yeah, really,
who
yeah, like
cares,
even in
man?
baseball, like the Twins, the Indians,
Yeah.
the Nationals, like just everyone's fucking like.
Yeah,
The
Oh, I'm
Leafs
sorry,
and the light. The
Oh, I'm
Leafs
sorry,
and the
I'm sorry,
Lightning.
I'm sorry. The Guardians.
Guardians.
Guardians, sorry.
Well, here we are, Connor.
Oh.
Talking about we're not getting canceled.
Yeah,
And
I blew
boom.
that. I come back for one.
Boom.
My bad.
He's back now.
Well,
He's gone.
We're a real podcast now. We got canceled.
So Sean said paint it orange was the safety cone slogan. Speaking of cones, there's this thing going around on Instagram that I'm seeing. Some Ducks
Uh-oh.
fans want people to show up wearing cones on their head, like little orange cones. And I think it's about time that maybe the Ducks started having fans like that. We don't really have fans that stick out that are like we have Ned, the dude who paints his head. Like we have
And
that
you
guy.
you have the goalie mask guy that wears the rally towels as
That's
like
true.
his
That's
uniform
true.
to the games.
But I think it'd be great if we had like a handful of people or even more that just
Whatever
wore
happened to the
cones.
lady that screamed "Let's go Ducks" like really loud?
I don't know.
She just like disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah, if we had our own like cone heads, that'd be pretty sick. So this is my call
get our own
to the cone heads.
get our own
Yeah.
little gimmick going.
Yeah, let's get cone
Yeah,
heads
could
going.
be. It's a
Yeah,
new era,
I'm
man.
down
We
for
could be
that.
seeing some different things. So
I'll go
exciting
to a
times.
damn game. I'll go to a game wearing a cone. I don't care. I'll wear a cone head.
When do you think they're gonna introduce the chrome orange chrome domes?
They're not going to.
Never.
I think they're going to eventually. At
I'd
least
rather
one
have
game.
matte. I'd rather have matte orange.
They're good. I just have a feeling they're gonna do it eventually.
Yeah, I feel like Matt's gonna look better. I feel like all orange
Yeah.
look with an orange chrome dome, that's a little too much.
Or I mean, they're probably just regular orange helmets. They might
I want
not
to
be
see it.
either.
I want to see it just one time just to see what it looks like. How
I
bad
kind of want to
how
buy.
bad it is.
I want to buy a mini orange helmet. Like from that picture, I mean, like I kind of want the helmet itself. I want a mini one. Her Twitter was Duck Screamer Girl, I think. Sean said. Actually, yeah, I think I followed her. I think she just kind of disappeared.
That's
Yeah,
a shame.
she's gone.
I wonder where the how about your Goldie lady is. I hope she's doing all right.
Yeah. So we did have the preseason schedule drop.
I forgot I actually
6
had
games.
that up. I was ready.
6 games, and they are all in California. So the preseason will start on September 24th up in San Jose. Then they play the Sharks again at home at Honda Center on the 26th. September 28th, they play the Kings in a neutral site game in Ontario,
It's not
California.
really neutral. It's not really neutral.
Yeah, home of the Ontario Reign, AHL. And then on September 30th, they play the Kings again at Honda Center this time. And then on October 2nd, they play Utah for the very first time. And October 4th, they finish the preseason back up in San Jose where they started the preseason. It's got to be the first time that they're playing all their preseason games in California.
I do like on the schedule announcement. There's a little more of the logo on it. I just noticed
And
that.
none of those will be on television.
I mean, let's be real. The preseason game last year when they had it on Duckstream.
That's right. They do.
I just
that.
kind of had it as background noise.
Yeah.
It's no, because they broadcast like arenas, like scoreboard.
Yeah.
And they, like, show all the games and shit they play.
It's going to be interesting TV wise now with Bally Sports apparently being bought by FanDuel. We talked about it on the last episode, tiny bit. So we'll see what that means. Ducks games might be on the FanDuel Sports Network or something. I don't know.
Bally powered by FanDuel and DraftKings and Bet365 and whatever the fuck else.
Yeah. Man, oh man. But yeah, very excited for these for this Ducks rebrand.
Do we think Wildling's getting a makeover?
He's got to be, right?
Well, he deleted all of his pictures.
Yeah, he's got to
his
be.
Instagram.
Yeah, the Wild Wing account. Yeah, everything's gone.
They deleted all the pictures.
It's funny. I sent a message to our little...
he's gonna have orange eyes. He's gonna have the eyebrows now. You know, it'll be done up a little bit.
He's
gonna have some sick brows, dude. But yeah, it's funny. I sent a message to our little group chat there with our insider. But I was just like, is Wild Wing getting a makeover? And he never answered. And then literally right after that, like Wild Wing made that posted that video or something about him painting and deleted all of his pictures on Instagram. And when he had the paint and everything, I thought he was going to paint his eye, but he
that would have been cool if he just went like
yeah, he just did like
like he does like some orange eye black. Like some orange streaks.
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
That's what I thought he was going for.
I asked Tyler, when do we get to see Wild Wing all yes-fied, and he never responded. It was pretty sad.
Yeah.
Wow.
I might have to bring my mini mic to California with me, and I'm gonna have to interview Wild Wing.
You will.
Just muffled scraping on the mic.
Thoughts on the Kings' new logo?
It's not
Yeah, let's talk.
terrible, but
It's
It's a
fine, I guess.
it's a clear upgrade from what they had, but
It is.
I mean,
Very much so.
I thought they should have just gone back to the normal Chevron logo. I thought that one was better, the original one. But I mean,
Yeah.
clearly teams are kind of trying to do, if they're throwing it back to an old logo, they're trying to modernize everything. So I get it, but I mean,
Mhm.
like, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's better than the home plate logo, but
100%.
like my only issue with it is this, like, it just looks a little too like stubby and compressed.
yeah.
Mhm.
I just feel like it needs to be a little bit more wide.
Yeah.
somebody put the box inwards instead of stretching it.
Yeah.
But hey,
The speed lines.
It's
it
still
is
weird they're going with the Raiders colors still when the Raiders haven't been there for like 30 years.
Well, they said they're a silver and black team, Lou.
Yeah, I guess.
They're
They'll
a silver
wear
and black
those for
franchise.
like 10 years or so, and then someone will come out and be like, you know what, we were always meant for foreign blue and gold, and then they'll change and it'll be like the Sabres all over again, where everyone's like, oh, it's about that time.
The Kings did confirm that they're revealing their new uniforms next week.
Yeah. That could
So,
easily be draft.
yeah.
It was funny. I did see one of my friends commented on King's Instagram post about it, and there was a comment from some lady that was like, "Well, the Stars got to the point in like Anaheim, and it had this whole thread, and this person's like, why are you why are you paying attention to the Duck stuff? Why does it matter?"
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, you get
Loser.
them.
Yeah.
Like own
Get
that
her.
freak.
Own that weird freak.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it personally. I've noticed over the last few months, a lot of Kings fans hate that Gretzky era logo, huh? I don't know if it's the logo itself or the colors. I still don't really understand. Just being an outsider, I really like that look, and I don't know if it's because I kind of grew up with it before they went to like the other like purple black crown. That's really nice. But I don't know. I kind of like the Chevy logo.
Ryan, but it's a suck logo. Do you mean it's just a logo they wore when they were bad, and that's why people dislike it? I'm
It's
assuming
fine, but
it has Gretzky nostalgia attached to it as part of that.
it's fine, but that's about it. It's fine.
I mean, you look at their logo history, and if you take away like the colors entirely and just go by the logo, don't pay attention to the colors. I personally like this one probably the most. I don't know. Like I don't like the original like crown. Like when they first came to be, I think the crown's a little busy. I kind of like the Chevy logo though. It's nice. It's definitely better than the home plate, like Connor said. That home plate logo is disgusting.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gretzky did wear. My dad has a home plate 2012 Gretzky, so
Jersey foul.
hey
Sorry.
Ryan, tell him because he did that he can't sub on our team anymore. I'm sorry. The Jersey foul is one that we can't tolerate.
Oh, by the way, do we get a captain reveal when they reveal the Ducks uniforms or no?
Ooh, maybe.
I mean, I hope
No, I
Radko
think
is back in time.
I think it's going to be a
picture.
training camp thing, but
yeah. I think they want to keep the rebrand revealed just that, and then
Just have
they probably
jump
want to
out of
get.
a box.
I mean, they probably want to get the players in, for camp and everything, and
Yeah,
have them
yeah,
vote
yeah.
on it. Or Gudis can jump out of a cake. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm really curious what
Imagine
the
just being at the flock party and like just jump scared as good
and
as
he's
jumping
like,
out of something.
and he's like, surprise, and I'm like, oh, okay.
and I'm really
Everyone's
curious what the
screaming.
captain patches are going to be too. What they're going to look like.
Yeah.
If we're
Ah,
doing
man.
this
I'm s-
shadowy effect, are we just stealing from the Rangers too and just doing the captaincy?
We're just gonna steal from them. We're just gonna be the Flyers and the Rangers, and you're gonna have to deal with it. 'Cause you guys
Everybody's a-
suck, and we're better than you.
Everybody's a captain.
Yep.
Everybody gets an award.
We're
All right,
getting
Ryan's asking if I'm Ryan's asking if I'm referring to the original crown, the second crown, the revised original, the alternate crown, or the gold crown. Now
Yes,
just wait a
Ryan.
damn minute. Just wait a damn minute. Hold on a second.
Yes.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I think the original. I think the original crown when they first came to be as an expansion team.
They should have just went with the purple, the form blue and gold.
I like the
I'm not a
the
fan
logo
of those, but
Ryan sent to the chat of their new logo, but in the purple and
yeah, that was
gold.
really good.
That was actually pretty cool.
The reverse
yeah.
retros were so nice. Like they were so good.
Yeah. Yeah. They were. I am a little worried about the Flock Party because once they put that new Mighty Duck logo on just about anything, I am scared that I'm gonna black out, and I'm just gonna come out with like 7 bags of different things.
We're gonna buy you one of those little backpacks. It's like the monkey with the little leash on the back. So if you go too far, we're just gonna yank you back.
There you go.
You gotta bring an extra pair of undies.
See? Yeah, probably a couple pairs. Feel like just got to take a break from the team store every 30 minutes to go change.
Yep.
Chris is just gonna be sitting in his seat going, "Cotton needs new shorts."
I'm definitely getting a hat. I know that's happening. I'm getting. Hopefully, they have some really nice black ones with the new logo. Oof. Oof. It's gonna be dangerous up in there. But yeah, very excited.
All right, we're ready for questions.
Yeah, we got a couple, don't we?
Yeah, we gotta head them up, move them out.
All right. All right.
I'm leaving at my house at 2 a.m. tomorrow, so
Questions coming out the ass.
Yeah.
So we will start as always. Hockey 365. We actually have topics this time. Last episode, we're like, oh yeah, we didn't do that.
Yeah, I totally forgot to ask him last time.
But this week says, are you buying into the NHL draft at the Sphere, or is it a bit too gimmicky for you guys? I mean, it's one last hurrah for in-person one. Sure, fuck it, why not? Have competitors
I kind of forgot about that. I kind of forgot about the decentralized draft, but yeah, no, I think it's perfect. I think it's going to be a cool spectacle.
Yep,
it's going to be some nice visuals. You know, it's a little funky. It's not just in an NHL arena. I'm for it. I think they're going to do some cool things with it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I like it. Definitely not too gimmicky. I think it's going to be really cool for people who are able to go. And if you are going, I hope you enjoy. Like I feel like that's going to be a crazy experience. Just being in the Sphere, seeing the videos from people in there and people like getting vertigo and stuff, throwing up.
They just need to project the face of whoever is drafted onto the Sphere. So just like someone that's not aware of what's going on just sees someone's face on there. Like, what's happening over there?
I'm excited to see kind of what they do with it, like while it's happening live, like how the Sphere looks and everything. So I hope
they just like throw up the graphics, like, you know.
Yeah.
San Jose first overall, Macklin Celebrini, and it's just like his highlights playing on the entire like outside of the Sphere.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. That'd be pretty
very cool. You have to have maybe the team that's on the clock have like their logo like going around.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like counting, and then when the pick's in, it like adjusts and throws the name up. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. You can just watch from your hotel room. You can just watch from your hotel room and know what's going on.
True.
All right. Man, there's so many. Like, where do we start? You know what, we will, since we had talking a lot about the draft here, we'll do this one first. It's from Barry. Says, do you think that the player the Ducks take at third makes the NHL next season?
No. Macklin Celebrini is the only one that's going to walk into the NHL next year. All the guys in these class, all the guys in these class need a year at minimum, I think. So I wouldn't anticipate.
Yeah. Just from hearing everybody talk about how crazy it is after Celebrini, that wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah.
If
I'd be pretty shocked if whoever we take at third is in the opening 9 lineup next year. I mean, maybe maybe they get their 9 games. I don't know, but like a mainstay, I would bet heavily against that.
I'd have to like, really impress to
Yeah,
stay.
yeah.
Yeah.
This one won't be controversial, but from J Money, that Oz
Oh boy.
Zegras is on the Ducks roster January 1st, 2025.
What'd you say? You
Zegras.
Odds
Say that again.
that
You got kind of crackly.
Yeah, you got kind of
odds
correctly.
that Trevor Zegras is on the Ducks roster January 1st,
January 1st of this year.
2025.
Oh, okay.
99.9%. He'll be on the team.
I'll say I'll say I'll say 80-20 yes.
80-20.
Just because like
It's kind of where I'm at.
I don't know. I don't know if he's truly a, quote unquote Pat Verbeek guy. I'm trying to deduct how this front office really feels about him. And I don't know. I feel like it's not trending in the best direction. So we'll see. I'm also of the mind where, and let me make this clear. I don't think trading Zegras is a good idea. I don't think it's the right move to do at this point in time. But I mean, I'm also kind of at the point where I'm just kind of over it. And like if they're if they're just being wishy-washy with him and they're just still listening, like just do it. Just rip the band-aid off and we can all just kind of start and both sides can kind of just start moving on. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're hearing that they were talking with Montreal, maybe. I mean, we'll see if that develops in anything. Don't really have anything more concrete than that on the situation, but
Yeah.
Like I said last
I don't know.
episode, like
I don't know.
there's just GMs doing their diligence, like they rightfully should. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gone nothing farther than that. So it's hard to say that there's more to it. But like you said, if you're kind of twiddling your thumbs and like,
No.
oh, should we not? It's like if it's on your mind and you know you can do something with it, just do it
Yeah.
instead of kind of prolonging the inevitable. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same
Mhm.
boat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see a world where it makes sense to trade him. And I mean, talked about that at length a couple of times this season already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not
Yeah,
untouchable he's not untouchable by any means, and he shouldn't
No.
be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know Felix brought this up on Crash the Pond a couple episodes ago, but Pat Verbeek has also had like about 3 different opportunities, in the back half, between the back half of last season and up until now, where he was asked about it, and he's had multiple opportunities to just flat out say like, no, we want Trevor here. He's part of our plans, and he's kind
Mhm.
of either just made no comment or just kind of like hand waved it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not really saying too much. And so
I also
I mean, I
think
don't know.
that's
Yeah, like I don't know how much stock any, all of us individuals want to put into that, but I mean, it's kind of a
Mhm.
saying something without saying something type of deal in my eyes. So I don't know.
I also just kind of feel like that's what Pat is. Like
Yeah.
It could be, yeah,
he does kind of take the I'm going to talk in riddles approach just because he'll say something about one guy and be straight to the point, and then he'll say something about another guy where you're just like, that can mean a number of things. Thank you. That makes more questions than than I
Exactly.
had initially.
yeah.
Yeah. See,
I'm at
yeah.
like I'm at the point where like if he is traded, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, where did this come from? Because I know
Mhm.
people are going to act like that, even though we're hearing smoke. Now,
Yeah.
to say that all of this smoke is backed by fact, that's not true. But I mean, it's sticking around for a reason. How much of a
Yeah.
reason it is, I think that I'll leave that up to everyone on their own, and everyone's going to have their own takes on it. But and we've also talked about it ad nauseum as well. So we'll see.
We will say witch hunt and move on.
Yeah, we'll see where this
Yeah.
goes from there.
Yeah, because I'm kind of in the same boat as Connor. I don't know if I'd go 80-20, maybe 85 that he stays. But I'm just like, I love Zegers, dude. Like he's one of my favorite players. He has been since we drafted him. And it sucks to continuously hear this stuff, but I'm at the point where I don't care anymore. Like, it's just like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. My feelings towards it are not gonna change. Like the change Pat Verbeek doing something. Like, if I'm like, oh, I don't like it, that doesn't mean Pat Verbeek's gonna be like, okay, this guy, this one fan doesn't want me to trade Zegras, so I'm not gonna trade Zegras. So it really doesn't matter how I feel. Or any of us really. We can't change what's gonna happen. We have no control. And I'm just kind of done. I don't really care. Like, just get it over with. Like, I love the guy. I'll root for him with him, as a Duck. I'll root for him wherever he goes after this if he gets moved. I'm just at the point where I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to hear about it anymore. I just want to see him play. If it's on the Ducks, it's on the Ducks. If it's somewhere else, it's somewhere else. But I also agree that it still does not make sense to trade him. And it's weird that we have to say that over and over because he's played no games since we last talked about this. The season's been over. So his trade stock hasn't changed. It makes no sense to move him still because nothing has happened. Like, these rumors get recycled every few weeks, I feel like, with Zegras, and it's like the same thing. So maybe 2-3 weeks from now, we'll be talking about the same thing, and we'll say, hey, it still makes no sense to move him because nothing has happened. Nothing has changed.
Yeah. Like, if you're not going to do it, don't do it. Keep him. If you're just going to be wishy-washy on it, and this is going to be a thing forever, just fucking move on. Like, I'm just kind of over it at this point. Felix has declared to me in a text message that he may be officially proclaiming Beckett Seneca as the pick.
Ooh. Okay.
A little teaser into your next
your
potential next crash the pond episode, perhaps.
Yeah.
I just leaked Felix. I'm sorry.
Fast forward to me buying a Seneca jersey at the flock party.
I will pose this one to you, Connor, because you definitely have kind of a whiteboard going with the draft. This one's from Chad. It says hottest take of the draft prospects. And in quotations, he says, i.e., Macklin is going to be a long-term 2C.
Hottest take of the draft is what you said?
Hottest take of any draft prospect is how I'm reading that.
Oh boy. Fuck, that's tough. Like, having it be such a big tier, like I was talking about, kind of. Fuck.
Hey, you can just fire one from the hip. It doesn't have to make sense. Remember, we are the Vibes podcast here. It can't just be a vibe.
Oh, okay. I got one. Cole, in 3 years, Cole Iserman is playing in the KHL.
There we go. Just let it fly.
All right.
I am out on Cole Iserman. No, thank you.
All right.
Stay away.
He's going to SCA, St. Petersburg.
What if he's there at the Duck second pick?
Sure. Well, that's the thing. I mean, he's not making it to 30 or 31 or 32. Yeah. Sorry. He's not making it there. So, some team will take
be drafted. He's getting drafted by Montreal.
He's just a fade for me. Like, if he magically happens to be there at 31, 32, sure. Yeah. Like, whatever, take the chance. Cause then you have another pick at the start of the second round, 3 picks later, you can kind of take your guy there. So, like, in that hyper specific situation that is certainly not going to happen. Yeah. Like, yeah, I take him. Why not? But no, I'm out.
Canadians will take him. They want to collect all the Coles. It's happening.
Isn't Lane Hudson's brother in this draft too, and his name's Cole?
Is it?
I thought it was Cole.
What'd you
Hudson.
say?
Doesn't Lane Hudson have a brother in this draft?
Yes, Cole Hudson. Yep.
Cool.
All right, we'll do Sean's next, and he's in the chat, so he will be able to react to this. So as it is now, who do you have for our lines, D pairs, and who do you think our first draft pick will be that jumps right into the NHL?
Well, I already kind of answered that first part. The guy who we're taking at 3, I'd put a pretty comfortable bet on him whoever that is, not being with the Ducks next season. But I mean, I don't know. It's still a little too early for me to kind of fully plot what the forward lines and D pairs are going to be next year. I mean, we kind of have a normal like a general idea of some of the guys. We know Leo Carlson's going to be, um, you know, is going to be the number one center. We know Troy Terry's either going to be the first or second line right wing. We know Cutter Gauthier is going to be, the first, second, or third line left wing. We know Trevor Zegers is going to be somewhere in there, maybe.
Or is he?
Or is he? I mean, we know it's going to be Lucas Dostal and Gibson in there. We know Pavel Minchikov is going to be in that number one left-hand D spot. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't make a full lineup prediction yet, just because we're not even through free agency yet. We haven't seen any of that, but
Steven Stamkos isn't on the roster yet.
He is not yet. He is not yet. We have not signed Sam Reinhart for 14 years yet. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is maybe a question for, in like 2 or 3 weeks after everything's kind of unfolded, but I don't know. Just me personally, it's just a little too early for a full-on lineup prediction like that.
We'll come back when David Arvidsson has announced he's staying here for 8 years.
Yeah. And for those listening, we do know Puck. Luke can just never remember Victor Arvidsson's name, so we've dubbed him David.
What? I spaced out.
David Arvidsson.
Oh yeah. Haha.
Sean said Brandon Monty comes back 4 by 7.75.
There you go, Montour. I will say we can't have an episode without talking about Gibson a little bit. I guess Elliot Friedman on the Jeff Merrick show said that he was going to throw another name out there, and it was John Gibson. He thinks that there are some teams looking at Gibson. I think that New Jersey did, but obviously they're off the table now after they traded for Markstrom yesterday. He doesn't know if there's a fit in Ottawa, but the thing that he's heard about Gibson is Anaheim's not crazy about retaining money there, so that's going to be complicated.
That's going to be hard. Yeah.
Yeah, if they're not willing to do that, he's not getting traded.
Yeah, unless some perfect scenario pops up.
Yeah, unless you do like a Gibson for like Jeff Skinner swap. Be like, hey, they're both making a lot of money and they probably shouldn't be.
I did think about that earlier because Skinner's name has come up. It's come up.
Skinner.
Jeff Skinner's name has come up a bunch about the Sabres possibly buying his contract out this weekend. Like it could happen as early as this weekend. And I was wondering, I'm like, I wonder if the Ducks maybe look into that.
I think the Ducks
not sure if they will. Not sure if they should.
The Ducks need to get a goalie back if they're going to trade him. I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't really want Lucas Dostal starting more than 6
Would
games.
you want Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen?
If we can get something okay from Buffalo for Gibson, fucking sure, I guess.
I wouldn't hate Gibson in Buffalo.
Well, we know you wouldn't.
Whoa, man!
Gee, Chris, I wonder why. Extrapolate on that a little bit more for me, Chris.
That would be pretty sick.
Sean does say the Caps they might need a goalie because now they got like 3 forwards and no goalies.
That's true.
It's literally gonna be Ovi, PLD, and Tom Wilson. That's about it.
Hey, don't forget Sonny Milano now.
Well, when he decides he wants to be like visible.
When he's not posting Instagram photo dumps. Yeah, it was just funny. I mean, like I'm still floored the Kings are able to get out of that. Like, yes, the entire situation is a disaster. That trade looks just absolutely horrid, but it's still a small win to get out of that contract, in my opinion. And just like they saw that as the best course of action, and they got out of it.
And the fact they didn't retain any money.
Yeah, no retention. Like just in a 1-for-1, like it's a very micro W there. A macro, very macro L, but a very small W in the end.
Yeah.
Winnipeg GM's just like, yes, we signed him to that contract, and we had to trade him. Vindication. Ryan just said, yay! Our next
I
one.
thought that was a fun little Gibson tidbit there.
I mean, hey, if Friedman's saying it, there's some credence to it. If he
that's
should
the only
not be
reason
named
why.
as saying it, because
Yeah,
there's never a fucking valid reason when the other guy says it.
literally the only reason why I even brought it up is because it came from Friedman. So I'm like, all right, maybe I should.
Well,
I
and
should try to
Friedman did
remember that.
say, well, and Friedman did say today, because I listened to that snippet earlier this morning. Like, as he always does, he does his wondering thing. But he brought up Ottawa. He brought up the Sens, and he's like, I'm not sure if that's a fit. And then he went into the retention thing. But like when Friedman drops like a hard name like that, even when he's doing his wondering thing, there maybe they are talking to Ottawa. He said that they talked to New Jersey about Gibson before they ended up getting Markstrom, but I mean, I wouldn't completely close the lid on a Gibson thing. If we don't want to retain, that's going to make it much more harder, or much more hard. But I don't know. Maybe there is something out there. I mean, GMs can pull. I mean, we just saw what the fucking Kings just did. They pulled that out of their ass. So maybe Pat VB can pull something out of his.
We
did it.
The first thing that comes to mind when you say like when Friedman does wondering thing, I just picture the wizard pondering my orb meme. Just Elliot just sitting there on Twitter, just like, what can I tweet out today?
Who can I upset?
All right. Next one comes from Zach. Says, do you see Frankie V staying, or do you see him getting moved for assets with one season left on his deal?
I think if the Ducks make steps this year, like, and not even necessarily having to make the playoffs, just make strides. I think they may try to bring him back. I mean, Frankie is getting older. What that contract could potentially look like is another story.
And he sounds like he wants to be here. So
yeah, he sounds like he loves it here. So I mean, I would not be surprised at all if Frankie is extended past next year. But I mean, if
he can sign July 1, right?
He can, yeah, I believe so. I mean, I hope to God not, but for whatever reason, if next year is just somehow a disaster, I could easily see him shipped off as well. So I think it really depends on how the season's going. But I mean, I would not be surprised if they're smart, there's no way they just let him walk. Either way, no matter what they do, they either keep him or they're going to trade him. But I have a feeling they're going to keep him around. I think he'll get an extension.
He seems to
like I said, what that contract is going to look like, we can talk about another day because not too sure where that's going to be. But and whether you think that's the right choice to keep Frankie, that's another conversation as well. But just for the sake of time and sake of the question, I think he's brought back.
Yep,
I think he can be. But yeah, like you said, if it's a completely disastrous season, he'll probably be shipped out by the deadline. But you hope it doesn't get to that point. I do think he sticks around. He fits well with the Ducks, and I can tell that the team really likes him, and I definitely see him sticking around.
Let's buy. Let's be buyers for once. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
So our next one comes from Saeed, and he says, keeping it realistic, what's the blockbuster trade you would love to see the Ducks make? And would that trade help them make the playoffs right away, or do you feel a few years down the line?
Well, we already kind of talked about the Gibson
Martin
stuff would probably be
is Gibson a blockbuster trade nowadays though?
No.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like depending on package.
Martin H's.
It's probably Natchez is probably the realistic one. I mean, it's out of the question now, but the one I wanted during the season was Elias Pettersson. But I mean, that ship has obviously sailed with his extension he signed in Vancouver. But I mean, it's probably Natchez. Does it immediately make us a playoff team? I don't know. I think it helps us get there. But I mean, again, like I'm going into next season. I mean, we'll obviously see how free agency goes and what other moves are made. But I'm going into next season where I just want to see steps taken in the right direction. and see progress. I don't even need us to make the playoffs next year for me to deem next season a
They
success.
can't be in the top 5 in
So
the draft next season.
yeah. Anything,
Please don't.
if you're in the top 7 or
That's a
even
failure.
8 next year, I'd say
Something's gone wrong, and
that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're, if we finish in that 10 to 15 range, just missing the playoffs, I mean, if everything goes right, I think we could potentially push for a wild card spot in a weaker Western Conference compared to the East. I mean, maybe, but I'm not quite there yet to make a prediction like that, like I was saying. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I'd say Marty Necas is probably the most realistic one out there. Probably the biggest
Mhm.
trade chip out there right now, I'd say. But
Man,
And hopefully the playoffs with a trade like that would be very soon. We don't want to turn into, I'll bring up the Sabres yet again. They haven't made the playoffs since like 2010, I think. We don't want to turn into that. Like they are constantly rebuilding, and then they get to a point where like, oh man, that didn't work. Let's rebuild again. It's like they don't allow a rebuild to finish before they start another. Don't want the Ducks to turn into that. We're already getting kind of far here without making the playoffs. So hopefully that playoff berth isn't too far away from now.
I wouldn't hate a trade for like Mikheyev if he wants out of Vancouver. Like he'd be a decent like middle 6 kind of guy, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. There's not too many like big deals I think we're in a position to make unless you're like really strapping up. Like, okay, we're gonna make sacrifices here, whether it's like like the Drew Hellis type or like one of those guys that's kind of on the cusp of like making the team, but it's probably going to be kept down a little bit further, just because of who's currently on the roster. I don't know. I don't think we're in that territory just yet of like being able to swing for the fences too much. I mean, who's to say? Because I mean, clearly Pat has done things that none of us expected Jamie to get traded.
Yeah.
So he certainly just chooses violence on random Tuesdays and is just like, you know what, today feels like a good day to do this. That's not out of the question, but I don't think that there's really anything you can swing for outside of like one or two guys that have like big interest this year, like Natchez and players of that caliber.
Yeah. Sean said no Marner.
Fuck no.
No Marner.
So this one kind of fits what we were just talking about. It's from Justin. It says, what is the Ducks' biggest need this offseason? And assistant coaches that you guys are eyeing currently? To answer the second part, I mean the report of Rich Clune potentially being on the radar is kind of cool. He's a younger guy and he's been with Marley.
Little more, yeah. He was in a developmental role with the Leafs, so Ducks clearly, if that report is true and if he is brought in, I mean, it sounds like he'd be brought in. I don't think Friedman would put out an assistant coach rumor without, that actually having some merit to it. You know what I mean? So,
Rich Clune would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, younger voice, a little bit more developmental focused. I'm for it. I mean, I don't think any of us four are gonna sit here and act like we have a strong opinions on assistant coaches around the league. We have a list, but yeah, sure, why not?
I mean,
Yeah, because we've been asked a couple
times.
times.
Our list went as far as no Mikio, and then he signed in Ottawa, and it was like, cool, no Mikio.
Yeah, because we've probably been asked like the last 3 episodes, and we couldn't give an answer. So I'm like, I couldn't even tell you who's available. Like, I have no idea. And now that Rich Clune's available, I'm like, okay, like I would go for Rich Clune.
Nice.
The first part of that question, biggest.
I think
biggest
you
need.
you can't really when it comes straight from the beak. And top six forward and top 4 defenseman, like kind of like that's on everybody's list every year, but
yeah,
I mean don't think
Top
he's going
six
to
forward.
deviate. I don't think he's going to deviate from that. So I'd say that still kind of reigns true.
Yeah, I didn't.
He's fit as to fill in those roles. Who knows? I mean, defenseman wise, I mean, I think Brett Pesci's definitely the kind of the the golden goose to lose out on, and then
Pesci
that
would be
list
cool.
kind of tumbles a little bit, for like down to like Matt Roy or
Brandon
I mean,
Montour reunion.
yeah, I think Montour would be a little expensive, but crazy things have happened.
Yep. Who knows, man?
And forward wise, I mean, that can mean a number of things because what he considers a top six forward can be different.
Yeah.
Different definitions of that. Yeah, but I mean, whether they swindle Stamkos over here, whether they swing and hand Sam Reinhart a giant paycheck, if it's a guy like Jonathan Marchessault, if it's a Tyler Toffoli, if it's a Victor Arvidsson, there's a couple different ways he can go. It's not like that there's just this endless barrel of free agent wingers on the market this year. So, there's maybe only about, 6 or 7 names I think could be in play for Pat. So, it's whether, does he want to give the big ticket out? Does he want to go something middle ground? Does he want to go cheap? I don't know. But, like you guys said, he identified what he wanted to get, and that was a top 4 right shot D and a top 6 right shot forward. So, I think we can pencil in something to be happen there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do these too quick, and we gotta do our squeak because our
All right.
squeak is in fact a good one. Ryan brought the heat for this one, but from Derek. So, what is the best hockey jersey number and why?
88.
88, 91. 81's cool. Yeah, I'm a high number guy.
I'll say 88, and the reason is because it's just cool to look at. It's very, very nice. It's a very nice number.
Agreed.
And then I would also include 21 just because I grew up loving Peter Forsberg, and 21 always kind of has that. Whenever I see it, it's the first player I think of is Peter Forsberg, and I loved 21 growing up. So 88, 21.
21's good. I like 19. I like 9.
9 is very good. Yeah.
I feel like 8 has a lot of rich history with it too.
Yeah.
Yep. I like the double numbers like 22, 11, 33 is good. 44 is all right. Not 55. I don't know why. Don't like 55, but 66, 77, Frankie V, 88, 99.
I'm just listing my number and his just because
71's a good number.
and it was I wouldn't say I picked it for the dumbest reason, but the most boring choice of just I was like, you know what? I'm a goalie and I like Braden Holtby, so we're taking those 2 and taking
Yeah,
1
there you go.
and 70. Woo.
I have a request.
Okay.
I think Lou should read the squeak.
No, I don't want to read this week. Sorry.
You don't want to read?
No, all good.
Okay.
All good. All good. All good.
So
Next time.
Rudolph's is pointed at Lou, right? This is a Lou question.
Yes.
I'm not answering that question either. Just go to the squeak.
Censorship. Okay, I gotta pull up Brian's account because we didn't send it in the chat.
Oh yeah, we didn't.
But as we said, the squeak is a duty. So it starts in all caps. It says El Pendejo is gone. I am free from Pierre-Luc Donata. This must be exactly what George Washington felt like when the apple fell on his head to discover gravity at the hands of the British. Oh my lord. What is your favorite non-Comic Sans typeface or font?
Favorite non-Comic Sans typeface.
Sorry, there was a response to him that said "Discover." Washington invented gravity, dumbass.
That guy clearly does not know. I'm an aerial guy. I keep it simple.
I am a Wingding 3 fan just because it does like triangles and squares and shit, depending on the letter you type in.
Chris seems like an impact guy.
Impact?
Yeah. Bold.
I like it.
Out there.
I like
Bold
it.
out there.
I like it. Yeah. I'll go with that one. I like that one.
I'm looking at a website with a bunch of fonts. I like Gonzaga. Gonzaga's good.
Okay.
Petro Sands.
A nice one. Some really nice like cursive ones too out there.
There's one of the cursive ones that's like it always takes up like the majority of the box because it's like the font in the thing is like gigantic compared to the other ones. I'm like drawing a blank. Damn it, Ryan! I think this is like most thought I've put into anything tonight. Like everything else kind of came naturally.
Fonts.
Now I'm sitting back just like, fuck, what font do I like?
Yeah.
What about it, John? Yes, of course I'm gonna pick the weird answer. I mean,
All right.
I can't think of anything else, so I'm gonna stick with Wingding.
Okay.
You said
That's a good one though.
Helvetica, maybe? I don't know. I have to open
Yeah,
my-
Helvetica's not bad.
Yeah, that's a good find.
Well, you want to close this out, Chris? Because now I'm
Yeah.
now I'm annoyed and
We're gonna be talking about fonts for 3 hours.
He's gonna be dreaming about fonts. He's gonna wake up at 3 a.m. just saying or he's gonna be saying fonts in his sleep, scaring the hell out of Heather. But yeah, that's it for episode 90. We got through 90, everybody. Wonderful stuff. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking around this all the way to the end here. This was a long one. Just kind of like episode 89. We won't be recording next week because we got the draft on Friday. There's no point in recording on a Thursday night when the draft is the next day. So we're going to let the draft play out. We're going to let free agency play out a little, and we'll be back in July. Wow. June went by really, really fast.
Wow.
So yeah, first week of July, we'll be back with episode 91, but thanks again for listening. Follow us everywhere on our socials at Late Arrivals Pod, Instagram, Twitter. Go check us out. TikTok, all that. Follow our network Inside the Rink. Go check out their YouTube page, and go check out our link tree. Go look at some of our merch. We got some ideas brewing that we're probably going to talk about next weekend when we get together at the for the draft and the flock party. If you're going to watch the draft, if you want to watch maybe with us, we don't know the location that we're going to go yet. We're going to figure that out this weekend. And if you want to stop by, if it's out of your way, we understand. But if you want to stop by,
anything somewhere near Irvine?
Probably, I think. I don't know. But wherever we do, I'll post it on our socials. And if you want to come swing by and watch the draft with us, the more the merrier. We'd love to hang out with you. If not, maybe we'll see you at the flock party. But I'm excited to get out there and see everybody, maybe see some new faces, meet some people that we've met through the podcast that I haven't been able to see face to face yet. So very excited for that. We'll see you in person maybe next week, and we'll be back with the podcast in July. Thanks for listening. We'll see you then.
Promo code LAP.
We'll be shaking hands and signing babies.
Yes. Signing babies.
Utah Mammoth.
Utah Mammoth. All right.
All right, bye.
See ya.
Outlaws.
Bye.
See ya.